Okay, we're live.
Great. So hello, everyone. Welcome to another Build Working Group meeting. Today in attendance, we have myself, Gibson Farnstock, Michael Dawson, Rod Vag, and UR Race. So let's start with stand up. So Michael, do you want to go first? Michael?
Yep. Oh, sorry. Yeah. In terms of stand-up, mostly just working on getting the power machines to support 4.8 and 4.9, just testing it out in the test environment. And I need to find a time where I'm going to be around for the next couple of days in case things go wrong to just turn that on in the release. And then the next thing will be to do the same testing and do the same thing for Linux 1 as well. And that's about it for me.
Cool. So yes, me. So since last meeting, I got a version of Node.js pull request working as a pipeline, just an initial trial. From using it and some feedback from Rod, it's definitely not a slam dunk as far as pipelines are concerned. They're not like a perfect solution. So we need to experiment more and see whether we can fix the problems and whether they're a better net option than what we have currently.
What are the key kind of problems?
So the biggest issue is you can do anything that is a script. So, like if it can run, you have the full access to the Groovy language, but you don't have access to the UI. So you can't do things like clickable links to things that just show up in the main screen. So there's some long discussion in the pull request.
Okay.
Some discussion. Some of them are fixable. Some of them need to be fixed by Jenkins, and some things we can work around. But it's kind of evaluating the trade-offs. I was thinking I probably need to try going further, implementing more of the things in pipelines, and then I think it will become more apparent whether it's worth doing it or not. So
sounds good.
Moving a couple of things into scripts as well, like the Node.js V8 job, just putting anything that's in Bash, if we just put it in Node build and then curl pipe Bash, to run, that seems like a good way to save some code, make it easier to check when things change.
Right. Are you mostly curling them as opposed to cloning the repo up front?
So until just now, until a couple of weeks ago, there wasn't to have multiple Git repos and for a single Jenkins job, you have to use a plugin. So I added it, and I've been trialing it with a couple of jobs, and it seems fine. So it's the one we use internally, and we have never had a problem with it. So it should be good to use. But I think that does mean that anything that's currently in use is a case of curling. I'd be in favor of using Git. Just adding another repo to the config.
Well, yeah, for the power one, I just actually added a line in the Bash scripting to say clone the repo, and then from then on, ran stuff in it. But
yeah, sure, you can totally do that.
Cleaner what you're talking about. So
right, if we can do it through the plugin, in theory, that's better. Although I have seen enough issues with the plugin that it makes me wonder whether it's actually a better idea. But we'll see. Anyway, okay. So that's that. And looking at AX GCC compiler stuff, it looks like Ansible is feasible on AX7. So if we can get that working as well, it'd be great to have the Ansible script in, get that into build. So that's mostly it.
When you say 7, we're building on 6 though now, aren't we?
Yes. So obviously, if it worked, then we'd have to consider. I think we support 7 from 8 from Node 8 onwards, so we wouldn't necessarily be able to go straight away. But maybe it's possible to use it on 6. And more to the point, if we could have this working going forward, then that's still a good option compared to.
Sure. Okay. Okay. So you're looking at 7, then you'll look at 6 and see if the same thing's possible.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Great.
And the other thing is to get Yum working, because if we can get Yum working on AX, then obviously it massively simplifies the whole installing things through we can just use the same package manager as RHEL. That's me. I guess next you are.
I haven't been able to do much in the last few weeks. I've just attended a couple of IRC calls. So, Rod, next.
Yeah, I taken most of this last week and a bit off from just open source stuff in general. Just needing a break. But before that, I did a lot of stabilization work on the hosts and Jenkins, and things seem to have really settled down. We had a lot of instability, and now most of the problems in Jenkins seems to be failing tests, which is a much better place to be in than having Jenkins fail in various ways. So pretty happy with the way that stuff up. Particularly the Raspberry Pis have been very stable in the past couple of weeks. So very happy about that. The new stuff I did there seems to have helped.
What was the new stuff you did there, out of interest? Because I know you've done a lot before, which didn't seem to stick.
Yeah, so the main thing was really replacing the host that was managing the NFS stuff, and also a lot of the network stuff around. I had a NAS host that was doing stuff, and it was quite unstable and caused some and seemed to have a lot of flow-on effects to the Raspberry Pis. And so I've got a completely new host there. I switched from FreeBSD to Linux for that, and it's been a really good move. So I haven't had to fix a Raspberry Pi in over a week. It's a new thing. They've all been up and running. So, there's a lot of red in Jenkins at the moment, but it's mostly failing tests. There's still one problem which we have to own, which is this problem of failing at the git clone stage. It just fails, can't get to host or some other weird error, and I think that's to do with the older Linuxes probably having older git. So I think my theory is to rub them out, we could actually just be compiling and installing the latest git on those older machines. And we've got some scripts to do that. So that could rub that out. But the rest of the red is failing tests, which is unfortunate, but not really our problem.
Yep. I think the only one that is our problem is the no-intil one, which is because we added a new job, the one runs with no-intil, and it only fails on 6 and 8, I think it is, not on master. So I guess that's more of just a note for future. Miles raised that issue, right?
Well, I mean, I can, because I've got like the OpenSSL 110 saying don't run on anything earlier than 9.
Right.
So I could do the same thing for the no-intil. So 6 and 8, hey?
Yeah, there's an issue. There's an issue in build, but I think Miles. I can't remember if I did. I think Miles didn't initially link to the actual failure. But maybe we should just come. In fact, maybe we should just do that now. I'm not sure if it's on the agenda. I think not. It's not, but I think it'd be nice to just go through it, have a look at it, because I think it's something we should discuss. This one is, so it's number 1182. When adding new targets, can we ensure they work on all release lines? I'll put it in the chat. So yeah, it was basically a note from Miles that, as I said, that the new target doesn't work on 6 or 8.
Do we know if it's easily fixable? Because there's two approaches here. One is to two approaches I've used anyway. One is to just don't run them on those versions of Node, and the other one is to actually manually add flaky indicator before the tests run into the file. I had to do that for the OpenSSL one, just to, instead of doing it upstream, it just force it in the test, and then we can remove it easily.
Right. I think it's just, given it's just one test. I mean, we could also just mark it as flaky in the next release of 6 and 8. RCs are due out today, so it wouldn't be hard to raise a couple of PRs, or even just work out why it's broken and fix it. Right, that would be the ideal. I think, given that it's already happened, it's probably easiest. I'll talk to Miles, but at least for 8, I'd rather just see if it's fixable first, and if it is, fix it. I think running it is better than not, because otherwise we'll probably forget to re-add it. You know, it's one of those things that if it stops failing, people will forget, right?
Yeah, I guess the challenge here is, I get the point. I'd be frustrated if I was Miles too, that things being broken when they're added. The challenge is, what are we supposed to do when it's broken? Because, like, does that stop us from adding them at all? and then having to go through the whole process of getting things fixed upstream to wait for it's so process heavy that I don't know. I don't know what the answer there is at all.
Maybe it is just to add that thing you said, to skip it on those releases and have an issue open that says get this to work on 6 and 8 and then re-enable, and then with the issue open will hopefully remind us at some point to actually fix that.
Well, I haven't removed the flaky thing from the OpenSSL. They're fixed.
Yeah, okay. So maybe this is a discussion we should have with the release team, or at least Miles, and to see what, or in the issue, we're going to take it back to the issue and see what the way to progress this is. But I agree, we should definitely work out a plan for new targets, because I think we have quite a few that we would like to add.
Yeah. This was an oversight on my part. It's because sometimes a new host, it takes a long time to prime. Okay,
sure.
So when you're, and then it's okay, does it work on master? Let's wait for an hour.
Yep.
To build. Yep. Then you got to go through the rest of them. So it's tedious involved as well. But it's effective.
So maybe we just need a checklist that's to remind people that, because obviously the other thing is, how do other people do it? So if we just had a list that says make sure it works on all release lines, because it's something I wouldn't have thought of either. I just to run it on master on the default and said, okay, it works fine. I'm sure it's fine. And just moved on.
Agreed.
Cool. All right. So I think that's any more for that one. I don't think there's anything else that interesting there. Nope. Okay, so the next one is 1107, updating admin lists. So this is, why is this on the agenda? I think this is on the agenda because John would like us to discuss how we add Jenkins admins, and specifically whether we should add him.
I think I left it. When I last looked at that, I had a proposal to split off to separate Jenkins admins, because I've got no problem with expanding the test Jenkins admin list much more liberally than we have already, at least. Even though we don't want to risk too much, because having to re-provision all of those hosts would kind of be a pain. So we want to be a little bit careful, but at the same time, we do need more eyes on it, more assistance. So my suggestion was to split that off so that we can still restrict release Jenkins a bit more and not have to worry about that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, that makes sense to me. Any objection? Or is it just a piece of work that needs to be done?
I think it's just work needs to be done. And it's probably not that much work either. It's just adding a team and then reconfiguring a release Jenkins.
Right. Okay, so sounds good. Sounds like we know what we're doing there then. And I mean, Rod, is that, so it's adding a new team that's probably going to be called something like Jenkins admins release or something, and then
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then,
it's literally just add the team, add the core people that are probably the infra team for that. Go into Jenkins release and change the global security there to just that team rather than Jenkins admin.
Okay. I can raise a separate issue to do that, and I guess maybe do it. Probably need someone else to test that it doesn't break stuff. Maybe something we could just do now after the meeting. Have you got time, Rod?
I've got a string of meetings, but
okay.
I'll try and remember to.
Fine. All right. Well, I'll create an issue for it anyway, and then I might just go do it, because it sounds really simple. And then it just needs everyone to check that we can still access CI release, right? That's the key.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Good. Right. Any more for that? And so I guess following on from that, are there any objections to having John as a test Jenkins admin?
No, I think we discussed this via email as well, and I don't think there are any objections to that. It was just this matter of
Cool.
isolating release.
Okay, easy. And then, right, all right, so moving on, the next one is 1026, new OS X info walkthrough. So Michael, do you want to, I mean, it's been a few weeks now. Do you want to should we just have a look? I mean, do you want to just give us a quick walkthrough?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess why don't we take a quick look? It's not ideal because I'm sitting on the floor here, but let us, I'm going to, let's see if I can open up, although I don't know if we want to broadcast what I've got in the security, like actually in the secrets repo, but that's where the current stuff is. If you guys want to go take a look while I walk through it.
What specifically is in the secrets repo?
It's basically the documentation of how we've set it up.
Okay. So everything before Ansible.
Yes. Because yeah, I think that's what we're going to go through, not necessarily the Ansible, but like just through the overall general setup. So I'm just getting there myself. And it is in infra. And then I'm just looking for the right file here.
Mac
Yeah,
Stadium?
there's Mac Stadium. GPG cat. Okay. So at some point we may want to go to the vSphere APIs and, or sorry, GUIs and stuff as well to walk through a little bit, but I just don't think I can get that set up right here where I am at this point. But in the new virtual machines, we have a bunch of templates for OS X 10.8 through 10.12. We still need to do 10.13. From those, you can use the template to spin up a new machine. Each of those machines, though, is behind the overall setup has sort of like a firewall at the front. So you need to basically set it up so that from the outside, you can get in to see those machines. The way that's set up is that there is a dedicated port set for each of the particular hosts, and it's based on the MAC address. So if you scroll down into that file, where is that in there? Actually, I'm wondering if I don't have the latest here. Let me get, sorry, I got to get clone the latest.
So for the vSphere networking, I think because the networking was the thing that that was the biggest hang up for us when we were looking at it. Well, for me anyway. You have to add a new host first before you can set up networking for it. Was that the trick that because you need that MAC address?
Yeah, I mean, basically,
plug it into an existing network.
What do you mean set up where? Here, just like I'm trying to get. Just let me clone this first because I can't do two things at the same time.
Michael, if this is too awkward for you right now, we could reschedule this.
I think it would be better to do it next. Yeah, I think it would be better to do it next time because
most of my questions relate to vSphere, I think.
Yeah. So I think let's do that because then I can be a little bit more prepared. Can actually get the UI set up that I can share and.
Sounds good, and we can try and get George around as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that's better. I think we can do a better job the next time. So.
Sounds good. Okay. So if we're doing that, then we have nothing else on the agenda. Does anyone else have anything else? And also, any questions? So if you have any questions and you're listening, feel free to post in the issue or on IC. So yeah, anything else?
So first of all, I just wanted to apologise for my absence for the last little while. I know things tend to build up, but is anyone aware of any urgent issues that that need attention? Because I've been trying to catch up on open source stuff for the last couple of days, and there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, you mean build issues or?
Yeah, any urgent build issues.
Okay.
I know there's urgent other issues, but
Because the other thing I would mention is, well, maybe I shouldn't mention it here anyway. I posted in the security repo on one of the issues. If you just take a look at that.
Okay. Speaking of which, there is a new OpenSSL release coming out. It's been announced. I don't know if that's been surfaced yet, but it's all release lines having to be updated soon.
Okay.
Good. It's probably not, hopefully won't affect us in the community, but I had to see an internal thing where the version of Git on some RHEL 6 machines stopped being able to connect to the HTTPS github.com certificate problems, basically. So I assume it's just an update Git issue. But so if you come across any weird SSL certificate failures trying to clone something from the public repo, then that might be something to watch out for. I'm not sure when we have the CentOS 5 box, right, Rod? But do we have anything? Do we have any CentOS 6?
Yeah, we've got 6, but we are having occasional Git failures, but they're very occasional. So
yeah, it's not the same as the one where it randomly just loses connections midway.
No, and I had to, for CentOS 5, I had to compile a whole new Git. There was just no way to add a modern one through it.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I've got an Ansible script.
Right. Good. Well, that's,
I've got an Ansible script for downloading, compiling, and installing Git. But it's just, and I started making it cross-platform so we can run on any host, but it's not quite ready yet. So if you want to look at that for the pointers, you can do that. But can't.
Yeah, that sounds good. Cool. And I don't think anyone's posted. Is anyone on IRC? Just to make sure.
I'm not, but I can flip over if that helps. Just give me a second. I'm just logging in. Just gonna look and build. Yeah, I don't see any questions there. Let's look in dev. Yeah, I don't see anything that looks like questions for this group here, so.
Okay, great. So thanks very much. Thanks very much, everyone, and see you again in 3 weeks.
Okay, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye.
Yep, bye.
Bye.